Hello everyone. Okay, I wanted to show you guys how to make an architectural model. So step one is you want to get a really nice flat base. So use the foam board, that's this white stuff, and make a rectangle or square, whatever it was that you're going to make, a circle if you're making a yurt. Make that as your base. Whenever you cut the foam board, you always want to get out your piece of cardboard that I gave you and then cut the foam board. I'm just getting a little sample piece and put that on top. So if I want a straight piece to be cut of my foam board, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my X-Acto knife and I'm going to make sure that it's really tight. If this part is not tight, and remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey, if it's not tight, the blade might come out. And if it does, that's okay, you can stick it right back in. So to make it nice and straight, I'm going to line up my ruler with an edge that I know is straight. So the bottom piece, I'm going to work with that. If you don't know that there's anything straight, you're going to grab anything that you do know is straight. So for example, I know that this piece of paper was straight, so I can line it up and I can make my lines based on the piece of paper, right? So when I do that, I can make a line that makes it perfectly straight. I'm gonna make a nice first draft, so just really lightly going into it just to have something to go off of. And now once I have that, I'm going to put my ruler in that place. And I'm going to go multiple times. The way that this works with the X-Acto knife is you have to go multiple times. So the first time I just go part of the way, then I go further, then I go further. And it just takes time to get all the way through and make a really nice cut. But eventually you get there. Same thing for a circle. Draw the circle first and then just slowly go around. The circle is going to be harder, I'm not going to lie. You might just want to use scissors, and scissors will be a little bit tricky. But just as an FYI, you can definitely do a circle. If you're doing a yurt, for example, something you can do is you each got different colors of paper. So for the yurt, you can do something where you make it into a cone shape, right? And then the cone could be the yurt top. That's one example. That's if you have a cone. Any windows that you have, I gave you guys plastic paper. So the plastic is going to be anything transparent. So for me, I had shower stalls. For you guys, you might have windows, things like that. I'm looking for one piece of your architectural model. So if you want to really focus on making a really cool bus, go for it. If you want to really focus on making a really cool inside, go for it. What I focused on is making a shower. So I made my shower. Here's my shower stall. So you might notice I made a wall first of my bus and I separated that with some paper, and then I made my shower stall. And I added my little storage space, so I had storage, and then somewhere around here I have a shower head. A few other things I worked on was creating a garden bed. So for example, you also have pieces like this, which are your grassy mats. So some of you guys have outdoor areas, so you can have your grassy mat. And then I just laid the pieces of wood. The wood you can cut with your X-Acto knife too, so you can measure it to be very exact. I was going really quickly, but you can measure it and make each piece really exact size. You can also just rip it, right? It breaks pretty easily. So when we do that, I laid each one in place and then I glued it all together. So this is going to be my garden bed, nice and simple. Then I'm gonna lay down some grass into my garden bed. And then I'm going to lay down some flowers in my garden bed, right? So this is a very simple design. I'm not going for anything too crazy, but I want you guys to practice making an architectural model because it really helps people to understand what you're envisioning. So those are just a few things. Same thing when you're cutting the plastic, you're going to go multiple times. So anything that you cut, make a nice, really solid straight line and go multiple times. So you're always wanting to go along the ruler, making sure you're not going to cut yourself or your fingers. You guys have worked with scarier tools than this. And always going multiple times until you actually make that cut. So that's the biggest thing. Use a ruler. Every single time use a ruler. And then go multiple times with your X-Acto knife. These X-Acto knives are really, really sharp. So all you have to do is just go multiple times. And then with the glue, you can totally glue things to each other. So for my shower stall, for example, I just put like a good amount of glue on my corner here. And I mean, it came apart because I'm doing some crazy things right now, but it will stay together. I have wheels. I'm expecting a little bit more from you guys. I did this in about 30 minutes. I'm expecting you guys to at least spend a few hours on this design. You also have a few different textures. So I gave you guys some corkboard. This could be flooring. This could be a roof. This could be soundproof material. All sorts of things. You guys also have some wood-looking patterns. That could again be your floor or your roof, whatever you want to do with that. The colored sheets of paper, this is cardstock, so it's a little bit firm. So you guys might notice that for my bus for my trailer, I made my walls out of this. I also made my furniture out of this. So for furniture, I could do something like make a few cuts here. So I'll make it nice and straight. Going over it. I do everything, so I didn't do it enough times. I'm gonna go one more time here. So I can use something like this to make, let's say, a swing. So some of you guys had swings in your models, so I can do something like, I'll bend it, and now that kind of looks like a bench, and then I can bend it again, and then I can add some string, and that can be my swing, right? So very simple design. We could add either actual string if you can find it. I did not give you guys string, or you can also use some sticks as your string, and this can be your swing, for example. So you have lots of options. I want to see some of your creativity shine, and I do want to see that each of you guys have a model in your first and last slide, and that you're actively showing it in your presentations. You'll be actually physically showing that model. Okay, let me know if you have questions.